Let's get it. Yeah, man. It started off raining and drizzling, and all of a sudden the sun came out. So you already know what it is. It's gonna be a beautiful day. But what I wanna do right now is part 6 of how UGK Records got started. Yeah, man, I took a couple of days to reflect and handle business. But you know I wasn't gonna leave y'all hanging. We dropped part 5, telling y'all how 17 got down. And please forgive me for saying you was a Japanese, but you got slanted eyes like me. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, so the next installment to the UGK record, UGK Posse fam, was a player out of the way by way of, I believe, North Carolina. North Carolina, take your shirt off and wave it around like a helicopter. Yeah, man, I'm getting some beautiful steps in this morning. Know what I'm talking about? Check this out. I got all this parking lot to walk. Yeah, I'm after 10,000 steps. You see what I'm saying? I'm after 10,000 steps this morning and every day. But yeah, so the next player that got aligned with us, I believe, was from North Carolina. Now, don't get me wrong, and if I make a mistake, you can correct me in the comments. But the next player that got down with us was a homie by the name of Bankroll Jones. I was introduced to his music by Pimp C and 17. He had a project called Scroll Music. It was really called something else. You know what I'm talking about? It was called something more derogatory, but they went on and dialed it back a little bit and renamed it Scroll Music. And this was a hustling, extraordinary gentleman such as myself. And he came through and Pimp introduced him to me. He sent him to my studio. I had a studio in the bank at the time. So he sent him to my studio to do some work with me. But I wasn't no engineer. I was just holding down the studio while my engineer was out doing something else. You see what I'm saying? But he insisted that he do some work with me. So we went through my catalog of beats. Now at the time, I had a bunch of beats from different cats that was, you know, getting at me, trying to work with me. Man, they had cats from Canada. Shout out to V-Man. They had cats from France. Shout out to French. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, them boys sent me a whole bunch of beats at the time. And I had beats from other players at the time. Ava Rex, Beatmaster. And what was my other partner name? He was from St. Louis. His name slipped in my mind. But at the time, I ain't gonna bull crap you. It wasn't really no jamming, slamming type stuff. But the homie Bankroll Jones found a couple, and we cut a couple of records right then and there. Now, when he came, this is the most extraordinary thing about it. He had, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of friends with him. You see what I'm saying? He had a bunch of friends with him, all the female persuasion. He had about six to seven friends with him. You see what I'm saying? Reading between the lines, you know what I'm talking about? But we sat there and we cut a couple of records, and we were able to brotherhood throughout the whole situation with the UGK Records and UGK Posse movement. Now, we did have a couple of little bumps in the road, but us being extraordinary gentlemen, we were able to communicate, talk it out, get it understood, and continue being brothers and whatnot. And still to this day, we got an open line of communication. Yeah, so the next player that got down with the UGK record, UGK Posse movement was the homie Bankroll Jones. Salute to you wherever you at. I know wherever you at, you doing like me, getting to the money. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't no funny business. It's all about the money business, man. R.I.P. to Pimp C and Mamba West and Pops. Vicious, I repeat, man, salute to the whole UGK Record and UGK Posse movement. Everybody down with us, the UGK fam, from the biggest to the littlest, to the people that do some rapping, to the people that do some toe tapping. Hey, man, just all y'all know what I'm talking about. And yeah, man, this is your player partner, Hezeleo. I ain't doing no stopping. I'm doing some mastering and some elevating. That's what it's all about. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna do. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, that's the 6th installment of this story. I think we got one more player that was added. You know what I mean? I think we got one more player that was added, and that would be the last of this story. That'll be chapter 7. That'll be part 7. So this was part 6. Yeah, the next person that was added was Bankroll Jones. I'ma check with the homies to make sure I'm accurate and not inaccurate. But yeah, part 7, we got one more homie that was added. Then we gonna close this chapter and we gonna get to something else. Shout out to everybody on TikTok. Y'all do me a favor. Go stream that new single. Also playing on 97.9 The Box in H-Town by way of Michael Watts, Land of the Trill. Go play that for me. Add it to your playlist on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you stream music. Get that record, man. You know what I'm talking about? And we got plenty more music on the way. The book, man, it's just so much stuff to name. I got some other things coming up, you know what I mean? I gotta get prepared for. And just on a side note, I was telling a friend of mine, it reminds me back in the day, Trill story. It reminds me back in the day when I had an adversary. You know, one good thing about having an adversary, I know you probably wonder, what could be good about meeting adversity and having an adversary? Well, if you shut up, I'll tell you. The good that came out of having an adversary was this. Because I knew that at any given moment, my adversary would jump out and want conflict and drama and negativity, it kept me on my toes. That makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but think about it. Because I had an opponent that was just as big as me, strong as me, stupid as me, would just jump out the bushes at any given moment and want confrontation, that kept me on my toes. So that kept me in the gym, running games of basketball. I'm talking about on the court. I'm talking about full court pressure. 8-9 games of basketball on a Saturday. 6 or 7 games on a Sunday. You know what I mean? 5-6 games on a Wednesday and 5-6 games on a Thursday. And it had me pumping that iron. That's all I had to do. Pump that iron, run some basketball, get on the treadmill here and there, go to the seawall, walk 2-3 miles, maybe run a mile, and that kept me in fighting shape. Come on, man. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's like when you have an adversary, you stay on your toes. So right now, I got a lot of beautiful things going on to elevate, getting ready for different drops and whatnot, music, the book, so forth and so on. So it make me more disciplined to get out here and get trim and fit and tone and tight like a tiger. You see, it make me more disciplined to get out here and get trimmed and toned and more tight like a tiger and stay away from certain foods. Because we like to get complacent. We like comfort. But sometimes, man, to elevate, to take yourself and your movement to different places that it's never been before, it's going to take a whole different version of yourself. You hear me? It's going to take a whole different version of yourself to go to places you've never been before and do things you never done before. You got to become somebody that you've never been before. My uncle told me that a long time ago. You know what I mean? My uncle told me that a very long time ago when I didn't really even understand what he was talking about. But here it is, many years later. He was absolutely right. And I also learned something from my pawpaw. I didn't call pawpaw pawpaw. I called pawpaw grandpa because he was a grand man. He was a grand individual. And I remember pawpaw, grandpa, pawpaw. I like that word because I'm one now. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. But grandpa used to sit down and smoke a beautiful pipe. And he'd watch. And I just wanted grandpa to talk because I wanted to learn. I would hang on to every word grandpa would say because he was a man of few words. But when he did speak, he spake. You see what I'm saying? When he did speak, he spake. Now, he'd preach on Sunday because he was a pastor. You can go see him on Sunday and he gonna give a powerful message and a powerful sermon. He gonna have the ladies jacking their wigs off like North Carolina. Jack your wig off and swing it around like a helicopter. They call that in the South getting happy. You see what I'm saying? They call that in the South getting happy. But that would be the only time you would see grandpa be very fluent. Now, it took me a long time to realize why grandpa didn't talk too much when he was around family. But now I understand. Sometimes your communication, when it's seasoned with a lot of triumph and struggle and wisdom and knowledge and spirituality and truth, it can offend some people who haven't ascended, who haven't elevated or rose to your level of consciousness. Somebody who haven't rose to your level of understanding, your verbiage and your communication can offend them. Even though you mean well. You see what I'm saying? Even though you mean well, your language and your words can be offensive. So instead of grandpa speaking, he sat back and he listened and he watched. But when he did speak, everybody would hang at the edge of their chairs and they'd want to hear what he had to say. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's a beautiful day, man. I owe myself 10,000 steps. That was part 6, man. I hope I didn't get too long and drawn out. But shout out to everybody on TikTok. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Y'all keep on liking, commenting, and sharing. And you see what I'm saying? I ain't went nowhere. It's just I got to be more like grandpa. I got to learn how to and watch and listen. Because I'm pawpaw now. Get that pawpaw walk on. Because I'm pawpaw now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's going down. I'm out.